Hey guys, Theotrix here, and here to give you a quick tutorial on Ableton's Wavetable synth. It's a synthesizer, Wavetable synthesizer in Ableton, uh, and it's really neat. It's kind of like Serum, but if you just kind of like basically just sort of took out a bunch of features and just made it like very minimal, which I think is what Ableton kind of thrives on. In the same sense, the operator is kind of like, it's an FM synth, probably something very similar to, FM8, but the features are all summed down into like this one module. So yeah, Wavetable is kind of that too, like that too, and that's why I kind of like it. Um, Basically, right from the get-go, you've got your basic shapes, so from your sine to square, so you can actually just change that by clicking here and dragging, or by here. You've also got two different views. You can see it in this like spherical weird view. I don't know if you're into that. And because it's a wavetable, you can drag whoops, you can drag WAVs into here. You can't drag MP3s. I've noticed that. But you can drag like .wav files in here and basically use them as wavetables. So what this will sound like, for example, or this. Wait, let me turn this up. Okay, so you can get different timbres by just putting in random like wave files that you have. You could actually put like a whole song in here if you wanted to, and then basically resample scrolling through the wavetable as you would with like a Serum or whatever else. A neat thing I like to do though with Wavetable is use it kind of for my lead synths. So I'll chuck up the sustain, and get like a saw shape, and then I use the unison mode. And now the unison modes sound really, really, really crisp. Like they sound really nice. I really like using the noise one, and just crank up the voices. Like, yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. I just kind of wanted to do this tutorial so I could show you guys like how I would go about lead synths, because most of the time I'm just using Wavetable, saw with some noise unison. You can crank it all the way up. It gets a bit noisy. You can also, actually LFO that. So there's actually, okay. So you have the mod sources. So you have an amp, which is like the envelope that controls the volume, the shape of the synth. You've also got two envelopes and two LFOs, which when we go into the matrix tab here, you can actually map this out to all the different parameters in the synth. And usually by clicking on any of the parameters, you can see it just pops up here, allowing you to basically quickly map out an envelope to or LFO to whatever. So for example, let's do like a filter to frequency to LFO. I just dragged it up this way to 100. Then I can go to the LFO by clicking there, and then yeah, and then you can do wubs, I guess. But yeah, it's a neat little synth, really nice. But just a quick trick that I like to do with Wavetable as well, besides using the different unison options here, and in particular I like using the noise and shimmer one's really nice too. Actually, I really like it too. If you're gonna do like a Reese, you can use shimmer, I think, and then just a low pass, and then maybe with a bit of amp. Like you can basically use the different unison modes, but in particular shimmer and like phase sync for really nice Reese kind of sounds, or like Reese basses. just to kind of get moody on your intros maybe. That's what I tend to use them for, is for intro progressions and impose sort of bass lines. But yeah, so if I wanted to, I could get a piece of audio like this, for example. This is just like a little growl I made. But I'm just going to completely fuck it up with texture warping. So just on texture mode here. And we'll do something like this. Just kind of have the grain size of like 30. And then I'll just consolidate this. Yeah, something like that's good. And then we can drag this into Wavetable. So we'll just get rid of this amp here. And then we end up with like a wave that will sound kind of like this. Oh wait, let's unload pass. I find I get really interesting timbres whenever I kind of do a texture warp, and with some random pieces of audio, and then kind of just chuck them into here into Wavetable, and you can get some really neat results. So we'll just assign an LFO to that. You can also do stuff like FM. I tend to avoid the FM on this though, because I don't think it sounds that nice. I don't know, you don't really have a lot of control with it. You've got classic and modern modes. So the classic mode, you can change the pulse width. And that just kind of sounds and looks like that. You can also do the sync, which I think kind of just multiplies the signal, or like the pitch of the signal. I'm not really sure in terms of technically how sync works, but it does pitch it up. And then you got, in modern mode, you got warp and fold, which I guess is kind of like your wavetable distortion modes. So you can, or like phase distortion modes. And they sound pretty cool. Again, fold kind of works similarly to sync. So yeah, and then you can also map those out too. I like to use warp probably the most out of all of them. Just get a little bit of phase mod stuff kind of going, like a bit of phase modulation. But yeah, it's just like. And we're gonna chuck some OTT on this. Well, actually, let's do OTT, some multiband comp. And you could like automate moving this about the wavetable position, just to kind of like, I guess, do different phrases like. But yeah, yeah, that's how I use Wavetable. That's pretty much all that I feel like you really need to understand about it. I mean, you can change the poly and mono voices, like the polyphony here and the glide. It's also got a subsection. I actually find this kind of helpful sometimes when I want to make basses. But I generally tend to make a separate subtrack, so I kind of avoid having the sub in the synth, or in the mid synth. So I'm splitting the subs and mids. But yeah. Thank you for watching my tutorial. This is Wavetable. Have a play, chuck some OTT on it, and call it a day.